Rachel moved to town at the start of my junior year in high school. She was a sophomore, and like always, the boys, sophomores, juniors, and seniors would check out the new girls. But Rachel was different. She had long black hair, blue eyes, and pale skin. She was thin, dressed simply in clothes similar to what my mom might wear, no jewelry, while most girls wore earrings and bracelets, and no makeup. The athletes, the guys who always got first pick, sized her up and quickly moved on. As for me, I signed up for soccer that fall, as I always did, and just like every year, I was cut on the second day. I'm not, and never will be, an athlete. I'm small, slow, and have zero ball sense. But I love sports, just watching, as it turns out. The only sport I'm even remotely good at is shooting. Rifle or pistol, I'm decent at both. It's a little odd because my family is always involved in anti-war rallies, yet here I am, a pretty decent shooter. Anyway, I wasn't feeling too bad walking home that afternoon with my soccer gear in a bag over my shoulder. As I passed the front steps of the high school, Rachel came out. "Hi," she said as she walked down the steps. Up until then, I had never had enough of a relationship with a girl to even speak 2 full sentences in a row, but I figured I might as well give it a shot. "Hey there," I said back. "You're new here, right?" "Yes." That was all she said, simple, direct. "Where did you go to school last year?" "I just moved here from Chicago. I went to Longwood there." "Never heard of it." That sounded bad, so I quickly added, "Not that it matters. Anyway, I'm Charlie Bardon." "I'm Rachel Manley." "Nice to meet you." It turned out her house was on my way home, so we ended up walking together. I learned a lot about her on that walk. Her mom worked as a night manager at the UPS depot, and her dad was a steamfitter, though he didn't work much. She had a brother who stayed in Chicago after high school, and he was around my sister Olivia's age, who was away at college. Rachel had never had a boyfriend, and I had never had a girlfriend. She didn't know many people in town, just like me. After sharing all that, there was a brief silence, then she asked, "Do you like rap?" "Can't say I do. I'm more into jazz, some of the classics. Like Charlie Barnet, Dizzy Gillespie, Marion McPartland, Dinah Washington." "What about Lionel Hampton?" "Wow, you know him? You must like jazz, too." For the next couple of blocks, we exchanged names and recordings like we were playing a game, each of us trying to one-up the other. Our tastes in music were surprisingly similar, and as we continued, she smiled. It made a huge difference in her expression. "I turn here," she said. Her street was a block before mine. I lived just up the street. But suddenly, her mood shifted, and she seemed a little down. "I'll walk you up," I offered. "No, please don't. Not today. I'll see you tomorrow." Even with an armful of books, she managed to run up the street. The next morning, I left home early so that I could wait at her corner to meet her. Mom was a little surprised. It was the first time I'd ever left the house early. Rachel appeared just as I got to her corner, and we had plenty of time to walk to school. We walked back and forth together that day, and just about every day after that. But she never let me walk her up to her house. She started coming over to my house, though. She seemed more relaxed and comfortable there. Then one cold afternoon, it started to rain not long after we made it to our house. "Why don't you take an umbrella and walk Rachel home?" Mom suggested as she left for work. "It will probably stop by then," Rachel said, waving goodbye. "Hey, it's no problem." Rachel sat down on our blue living room couch and looked at me. "Yes, it is." "What?" "It is a problem. My father can't see me with a boy. He'd, snorts, kill me." "Why? You're almost 15, aren't you?" "Yes. But my father is very jealous." "Jealous? I guess I don't understand." Rachel started to cry, stunning me. I'd seen Mom cry after Dad died, but this was the first time I'd seen one of my friends bawling. When she was able to, she said, "If I tell you, will you promise that you won't tell anyone?" "Sure." "No, I mean it. Promise me." "I promise I won't tell anyone, not even Mom." The story poured out. 2 years before, when Rachel was in 8th grade, Her father had been home all day drinking. When Rachel came home late from school, he had spanked her for being late. The spanking had apparently excited him, and he then raped her. He ensured her silence by threatening to kill her. The next day, he took her again as soon as her mother left for work. She tried to tell her mother, but her mother told her she was having a common adolescent girl's fantasy. So the incest went on, she told me, 2, 3, even 5 days a week. Sometimes on weekends, when her mother went to the grocery store, her father would pull her into the bedroom. School and my house were the only places she felt safe from him. And he'd forbidden her to have anything to do with boys. Her father told her that he was the only man she'd ever need, so she shouldn't bother with anyone else. He said he'd castrate any boy he saw with her. He was 6 feet 5 inches and weighed over 260 pounds, so he probably could carry out his threat. Once she'd brought a girlfriend home, her father had been polite for a little while, then started drinking. He'd exposed himself to the friend, suggesting that maybe she'd like to taste him. She'd run out of the house. Rachel had persuaded her friend that it was only because he was drunk, that this was a very unusual occurrence. But she never again invited anyone over. The tears were streaming down her face as she finished telling me the story. I had my arm around her shoulders, using my other hand to dab at her tears with my handkerchief. I didn't know what to say. I'd always assumed that all the girls I knew were virgins, but here was a close friend telling me that she had regular intimacy with her father. I wish there was some way I could help, I told her. He must be a monster. I don't know how you could live there. What other option do I have? I appreciate your offer, but I'm not sure how you can assist me. I really do value the gesture. She smiled, but the expression quickly faded. Would you want to take my pistol with you? Even if it's unloaded, it might serve as a deterrent. Thanks, but I don't think that would help. He'd know I wouldn't actually use it. I just feel so powerless. She gripped my handkerchief tightly, wringing it with both hands. Well, if you think of anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. After that conversation, something shifted. I started seeing Rachel in a different light. She was more experienced, while I felt like I was still figuring things out. But I reminded myself that she was just my friend, and we got back to our usual routine. She'd come over after school, and we'd either watch TV, do homework, listen to jazz, or just hang out. One day, Rachel noticed a picture that my sister, Olivia, had sent home from school. She studied it closely and commented on how much we resembled each other. How tall is she? She asked. About 5 feet 5 inches, like me. Can you fit into her clothes? I suppose so, but I've never tried. Why? I think I might have an idea. Would you mind trying on some of her clothes? Me. Dress like a girl? No way. That's just odd. She's a girl, and I'm not. Still, I couldn't help but wonder what she was thinking. Please. It could really help me. Would you just give it a try? In the end, I gave in, and we went to Olivia's room. Rachel began rummaging through Olivia's dresser and closet, pulling out clothes and tossing them onto the bed. I think this should work. But first, we need to take care of something else. You'd better shave. She led me into the bathroom, opened the medicine chest, and handed me a bottle. Apply this all over your body, wait 5 minutes, then take a shower. Once I followed her instructions, I was completely smooth, no hair anywhere except on my head. Rachel knocked on the door. Are you done? Yes, but all my clothes are still out there. Wrap yourself in a towel and come on out. I returned to Olivia's room, and Rachel began dressing me. It all happened so quickly, I could hardly process it. First, she put me in a pair of white cotton panties, pretty similar to the ones I usually wear. Then came a white cotton bra stuffed with 2 pairs of pantyhose. After that, she added pantyhose and a white cotton slip, followed by a plain white blouse and a navy blue skirt. Surprisingly, the clothes weren't uncomfortable, although they fit differently than I expected. The shoes, however, were a problem. Olivia's feet were narrower than mine, even though the length seemed to be right. Try these on, Rachel said, handing me a pair of short cotton socks. They worked well with my white tennis shoes. I'm not sure what to do with your hair. It's too short to style femininely, she added. I shrugged. Lots of girls wear baseball caps. If I wear it backwards, it hides how much hair I have. Good idea. I'll stuff a couple of handkerchiefs in to make it look like your hair's up. She tilted her head, considering me. It's not bad, but you'll still need some makeup. Let's see what we have. She sifted through Olivia's dressing table and found a lipstick. Here. She applied it to my lips and watched me blot them on a tissue. That should work for what we need, she decided. How do you think it looks? I walked over to the mirror on the closet door. The reflection staring back at me was a girl. Not beautiful, not ugly, just an average teen. I sighed. What can I say? I'm not winning any beauty contests. Today, you don't need to, Rachel said. Let's go. Where are we going? I really don't want anyone to see me like this. It's not far. And who's going to care? The sooner we do this, the sooner it'll be over. We walked quickly, very quickly. I was anxious about being seen, but it seemed like we were in the clear. At least, I didn't hear any laughter or remarks. As we walked, Rachel explained that she wanted me to meet her father. At least there's someone else who knows what kind of person he is, but don't feel like you have to defend me. That'll just make it worse. When we arrived at the house, he wasn't there, but he came home shortly after. As soon as he entered, he started making inappropriate comments, suggesting a threesome between Rachel, me, and himself. Scumbag was an understatement. He was tall, large, and his odor was overwhelming. He hadn't bathed or shaved in over a week, and his hair looked like it hadn't been cut in months. He carried a beer bottle, which he gripped in one hand while using the other to make crude gestures toward Rachel and me. I almost lost my temper, but Rachel's warning glance held me back. He started to unfasten his pants, but Rachel screamed, and he quickly zipped up again. She grabbed my arm and hurried me out of the house. Don't forget, he yelled, 8 o'clock in my room. Does he mean what I think he means? I asked, horrified. Absolutely, Rachel replied. I have to be there, strict and ready for him. That bastard. If I don't show up, he'll beat me. Can't you go to the police or someone else? It's my word against his. My mom won't believe me. Why would the police? But now I can testify to what I've seen. Rachel nodded. Right. So far, all he's done is grope us, but that's just the beginning. The police might question why you're dressed as a girl, though. We need him to go further. How do we make that happen? I don't know, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Rachel came back to my house, and we brainstormed, but nothing seemed to work the way we wanted. Finally, Rachel had to go home. Just after she left, an idea struck me. I thought it through from every angle, and it seemed solid. After breakfast the next morning, while my mom was still asleep, I called Rachel. How did it go last night? She hesitated, then said, I think you got to him. He mentioned you at least 6 times. While he was with you? Yes. It seemed to excite him. He was so exhausted that he didn't even bother looking for work today. I'm sorry, but that's not why I called. I won't be late for school today, just have an upset stomach. I hope to make it later. I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do? I'll come by after school. Thanks. Oops, I've got to go. Bye. I returned to Olivia's room and picked out another outfit. I didn't think I needed to shave or use the depilatory just yet, but I was careful with my makeup. I packed my jeans, sneakers, and shirt into my gym bag, grabbed something from the basement, and headed over to Manley's. I realized Mrs. Manley might be home sleeping, so I knocked quietly on the door. After a few minutes, Mr. Manley answered. He seemed surprised to see me, but quickly opened the door, grabbed my arm, and pulled me inside. As he shut the door, he shoved me against it and tried to kiss me. I nearly gagged at the smell of him. He reeked, and his breath was unbearable. Couldn't stay away, huh? He muttered. I began to panic, but when he grabbed me, I knew I had no choice. I quickly drew my .22 caliber pistol from my bag, pointed it upward under his chin, and fired. His head jerked back, His eyes widened, and he collapsed. I shoved him off to avoid getting blood on me and fired another shot into his left eye as he fell to the floor. I felt sick, standing there in disbelief. I had just taken someone's life. Alex. Alex, are you there? I heard Mrs. Manley's voice from upstairs, groggy with sleep. I knew I had to move fast. It took no more than a minute to strip off the skirt and blouse and change into the jeans and sweatshirt from my gym bag. I grabbed the 2 spent cartridges, slipped them into my pocket, and quietly left, trying not to draw attention. I took the short walk back to Olivia's house, stashing everything away in her room. It took a little extra time to clean the pistol and properly store it. When I finished, I couldn't hold it in any longer. I was physically sick. The next day's paper ran a 125-word article on page 3 about the murder. They called it a gangland-style execution, and the police found no clues. They didn't seem to search very hard. After the funeral, Rachel asked me if I knew anything about it. I avoided her questions, but I knew she suspected me. She kissed me for it. That was 12 years ago. Last night, after she put the kids to bed, I told Rachel everything. It feels safe to talk about now, because wives don't have to testify against their husbands. If you appreciated this story and wish to show your support, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel.